GM, FOMOverse Radio. This is Austin Hamilton, your show host. This morning we have Tristan on here, FOMOverse holder number 1017, all the way from the West Coast. What's going on, Tristan?
GM Austin, GM. It's an early morning here. It's total whiteout. I can't see more than a few feet in front of me outside the window. It is cloudy,
Is it snowing
but
there?
great day. It is not snowing right now, so I'm thankful for that. I'm actually not a huge fan of snow.
Yeah.
It's really nice to look at, but I don't like being cold.
So you're a summer guy, huh?
Yeah, summer, spring, love the flowers.
Nice. Flowers are pretty. So Tristan is the creator of Impact. It's a monthly newsletter focused on Pox Ash ecosystem. He recently came out with Volume 2. For those of you that don't know about this newsletter, I recommend that you go on to Tristan's Twitter. His @ link is right below his name there, or right below his poet. So you can just screenshot it, copy it, go onto his Twitter, and subscribe to his newsletter. Tristan, what got you inspired in the newsletter?
Well, I realized that this space was moving so quickly, and that if someone didn't record what was going on as it was happening, it would be lost like dust. So that's what really inspired me, is to capture the moment and record it as a gift to our community month by month, and eventually to tie it all together in a book in about 5 years.
Oh man, I didn't realize you had a roadmap.
Got it, right?
You gotta have
Best
that
things do.
roadmap.
Yeah, I didn't think I had a roadmap, and it just formulated in my mind. It's a mind map, really. I put it on the road map, wrote it on a piece of paper, so I guess it's a white paper now. That's how it starts. It starts in the
Oh
mind.
man, that's so legit. You got your own white paper now. Wow.
That's right. Anyone can have one. You just have to put the pen to the paper.
You know, I actually haven't published my white paper. Maybe I need to start getting on that, man. I'm falling behind you.
Oh, no. I think we're all building together, and we all take inspiration from each other. So if someone builds, we look and we incorporate into our own ideas as well.
Yeah, I noticed you just published the second um, Impact newsletter. I haven't had the chance to read through it all, but I did read through the first one. It was really informative, and I would say it's pretty useful, especially if you're not on Twitter, Discord 24/7, looking at all these artists and creators. Um, so tell us how you decide who you're gonna choose to feature on your newsletter.
I have no formula for that right now. And
It's
that's
not in the
something
white
that I
paper.
hope to. Well, that actually is in the white
Oh,
paper,
oh,
which
nice.
is why it's so important. Because right now it's a little bit arbitrary, but I want to give that power and a lot of that ability about who gets interviewed back to the community, because it's all about the community. So I hope to unleash my own Discord channel here soon, and or maybe just, if it's allowed, have a channel off of someone else's Discord and pull the people, see who they want to hear from next, and take it from there.
Oh, that's cool. Kind of have like an open survey. Hey, what do you guys think about, the third newsletter? Who do you guys want to see?
Hmm. And it's going to naturally answer that question by itself, because some creators are going to have drops, and we'll want to hear from them as it's coming up. If they're willing to work with me, then I'd love to shine that light on them for them.
That's so awesome that you do that for the community. That was what inspired me with FOMOverse. When it first began, I don't know if you guys have all heard this before, but Fomoverse was started last year by Pock, and it was essentially just a free drop. You just had to claim Fomoverse, and
Mhm.
he had his own. They had their own Discord in the Pock Discord, and honestly, it was kind of quiet in there, and that's kind of just what inspired me to jump on there and start my own little role-playing guy as a radio show host, and here we are today. So, it's,
Yeah, I love that. I saw you doing that. I gravitated towards that. I was drawn in. And F channel is one of my favorite little sub chats in Pack Discord. I usually hang out in there, just in the big old lorem, but I think it's great what you're doing.
oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Um, what I was going to ask you is, did you initially get Fomoverse, or did you have to buy it on the secondary?
I initially minted it. I was up for like 3 days. I wasn't
Yeah.
gonna miss.
Yeah, you were in the health check Discord
Yeah,
channel.
I actually missed on one wallet and hit on another. So
Oh
there's a
wow.
50% ratio there. And on the one I missed on, I clicked earlier than the one I hit on,
Yep.
as it goes.
That happened to me. So I minted from one wallet, and I clicked on the link fomoverse.gg, and it's popped up a message like you're too early or something like that. And I had my buddy on the phone, and
Hmm.
he's like, "Oh man, I think I missed it." And I, at that second, I like hit refresh, hit it again, and then my MetaMask started spinning, and I like upped the gas, and it ended up going through.
Well, I'm glad you got it. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, man. I don't know if I would have bought in secondary just because at the time there was like a huge run up, and I'm not a big holder of ETH. Like, it's hard for me to hold any ETH if I have it.
Hmm.
So I don't know if I would have been able to afford buying in. I might have had to sell some other stuff. So, very
Yeah.
grateful that I got it first and minted it when I did.
As soon as I have ETH, it gets spent on gas. So
Yeah.
I hear you there. I was so happy with one of my friends that I introduced to Pack went all in. They bought a cube at 15 or 17K. They
Wow.
bought poets. And during the carbon snapshots, they also bought an F between the first one and the second one. And they were actually one of the really lucky few to be airdropped the carbon just for holding various pack assets like pages, poets, and whatnot.
Oh,
And
no way.
yeah, it's that conviction in pack. He said it was just like magic. I was like, I know.
That's
That's what it's
crazy.
like.
Do you know if
It's
you
great.
had to have poets, pages, and FOMO, or do you know like what the criteria was for that for the
I
carbon
believe
drop?
it was pages and Ash, FOMO, and a cube also up your chances.
Did you have to have all of them, or did you just
No,
have to have one?
you just had to have one of them. It was a threshold of Ash. I think it was above or 65, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. But it was just, you had to have one. If you had more than one, then it was essentially another slot in the lottery.
Okay. Um, yeah, that was pretty interesting. The carbon drop, I really didn't see that coming. I don't think anybody else did.
No,
I
I
was
certainly didn't.
I was like speculating. Of course we'd have the one of one auction for Ash, and then I went on to speculate that there would be like a limited edition, and this was just my opinion. I thought there's going to be all these editions for 100 Ash, and you would just try to go in and buy it as quick as you can, but that didn't turn out to be the case. I believe there was a short sale of carbons for sale, and Ash one for like, I think it was 600 Ash. Was it like 200 of
Yeah.
them or something?
It was 600 a piece.
200
It
carbons, I
was
meant.
it was more than 200 carbon because my girlfriend got one and she got ID 270, I believe. So I think it was a little bit more than that.
Gotcha. One of my good buddies at work, he ended up buying one too for that 600 price, which
Mm.
turns out to be a really good deal. I mean, if you're looking what they're trading for now, I think the last time I checked was like 800 or something, Ash.
Yeah, we actually want to buy another one just to burn.
Yeah,
We want to add to that fire. I'm excited. We're nearing that 100 here, only 8 to go, and it's been less than 2 weeks, and already 10% supply is gonna be gone.
I have the watch cubes burn pulled up, so you can see that middle line there where it says open sea carbon floor, 15 grand. Nifty doesn't support these carbons yet, which I imagine like any day that could happen. Where you can deposit your carbon in Nifty. And then it shows carbon burn 92, carbon remaining 908.
You think a lot of people will put their carbon in Nifty?
I think there's gonna be very few that do. I feel like most of the people that have carbon now, they're pretty educated, I guess you could say, with their NFT assets. I feel like most will hold on a self-custodied wallet, or even like myself, I just had Pox in mind because I got nominated to my cold storage, so he just
Yeah,
boop just put it right there in cold storage, so I didn't even have to do anything.
perfect. Didn't have to use that gas to transfer it over.
No gas, buddy. What was up with
Yeah.
gas yesterday?
Oh, I don't know. I saw it was people were freaking out because it was cheap or something. I was like, okay,
I woke
just
up
another day in the
early
blockchain.
and somebody was like, gas is at like 1,000 or something, and I was like, what? And so I was like looking on there, and then at the same time, I seen Second State was doing his public drop on the Soul,
Hmm.
and I have one of the Souls, and I went on. I was like, oh no way! Like I can buy one for 4 Ash, and then I like clicked buy, and it was only it said it was like $26 in gas, and I'm like, this can't be right, but let's try. I confirmed it, and it was spinning for hours. I'm like, okay, I'm not getting it.
Um, I see. Yeah, I honestly didn't try to buy anything. That's interesting. Yeah, second state's job was really cool. I wish I was able to whitelist for that, and it made me realize that the We Accept Ash ecosystem and the Ash economy is actually so exciting that I need to focus on it more instead of looking at these other drops and collections that are releasing. Because our community just comes up with the coolest projects, and I'd rather be involved in that than anything else.
Totally agree. I was talking to Jameson last weekend before I got full rugged, and I was
The
telling
rug
him
episode.
the full rug trilogy. Uh, so I was like, yeah, I'm trying to consolidate to more just like POC, just stay like narrow and just stay on this one way, which I mean it has its ups and downs. But I've been trying to sell other things to just convert everything to POC and Ash Artist.
Hmm.
So, I was looking through my OpenSea wallet, and I have a lot of things on there that are Ash Artist, or they accept Ash now. Versus before Ash came out, or Ash was a big thing, I should say before Dell's last drop, I just barely had anything in Ash. So it's kind of neat to see that transition. You go from one
Yeah.
thing to the next, and it sounds like you're wanting to pay more attention to Ash Artist and
Oh
Ash
yeah.
drops.
And the first time I really had this conviction was back in October. I was in the F chat actually, and NextPex was just there talking to the community. And I just came in guns blazing because I had a realization. And I was like, owning a piece of pack is like investing in future technology. And NextPex humbly replies, saying that they'd rather hold any pack piece than a DeFi token. And they say a little bit more from that point forward, but they basically validated my belief in that moment. And that very night, I liquidated a bunch of my NFTs and converted it to pack right then and there.
Yep.
And I think that the diversification within the ecosystem of Ash artists is very unique in its own right as well.
Somebody said on Twitter, they were saying, if you hold certain ERC 721 tokens, it's like you said, MaxPex was saying it. They would rather hold the ERC 721 than, any DeFi token, which I totally agree. I've been really bullish on NFTs, even when the whole bear market happened last year. I seen my whole portfolio drop more than 60%.
Mm-hmm.
And that just even gave me more conviction, like I'm gonna hold on. I don't care, what they go to. These are my babies. Like I'm not letting go of them.
Yeah, well, for me, it wasn't really a question of that. I knew what we had here, and I think a lot of people who come from a gaming or MMORPG background with rare limited items see the writing on the wall because they have seen it play out before where people will pay thousands of dollars for some pixels not attached to the blockchain. So knowing that it is attached to the blockchain and seeing so much other people put value in it is such an easy equation for someone like me. And seeing a creator like Pac and what they're doing is way cooler than just the standard utility of okay, it's pixels on the blockchain that people will put value to, but it's a whole new onion and ecosystem built on top of that, right? And I want you to think about how early we are still. It hasn't even been a full year since Cubes came out. It hasn't even been a full year since Burn got released. We are in the very first chapter. We're like in the first sentence of this journey.
You're absolutely right. I 100% agree with you how early we are. And it's crazy because at this point, the NFT space and crypto just moves at a million miles an hour. And so it just feels like it's been forever, since a lot of this has started. But in reality, in human years, it's like you said, it hasn't even been a year since the fungible came out, and
Yeah.
crazy to think how far we've came, over that 1 year.
Yeah, it's doing these interviews, as I'm sure you have in your own right, you realize talking to people one on one how much their own lives have changed in that time frame, and it's generally been for the better. I haven't spoken to a single person involved in the pack ecosystem who has had a worse time now than they were before. So I think that's really cool too.
Yeah, Tristan, I got couple of my buddies to buy some cubes. I want to say like four, and two, yeah, two of them completely sold out. Like they don't have cubes anymore.
Hmm.
They went on and did their own thing. And then there's another two that, for whatever reason, they believed in the ecosystem, which I do 100%. Without me, like, telling them, hey, hold on to it. They just did everything themselves. They still have cubes. And, sometimes they'll hit me up and be like, hey, what do you think the future is of this cube? And I tell them, look, man, this is a very special drop. First of all, it was Pac and Sotheby's first drop together. If I remember right, was it Sotheby's first NFT drop as well?
Yeah, it was.
So Sotheby's first?
And people went with
Yep.
Christie's and Sotheby's waited a little while and they chose Pack.
And
That was their horse.
Sotheby's has been out, what, for 100 years?
Oh yeah, they're the reason why I bought my first NFT, which was a cube.
That was your first NFT.
Oh yeah,
What did you think about spending $500 on it at the time?
I the price almost didn't matter because I had done my research and looked into Pac beforehand. I looked at all their previous works on Nifty Gateway. I found their wearable stuff. I had watched every single one of their YouTube videos. I stumbled across their Vimeo. I went to undream.com or .net, whatever it is. I emailed Pac the day before the drop, and I basically said, "I see you." And Pac emailed me and thousands of other people back before the collection was even released. And once I got that email back, I knew what I had to do. And I bought my cube then. On the first day, I thought that I was in the Nifty Gateway regular Discord chat, and I actually met a good friend of mine there on that day. We were both just trying to figure out what was going on. And they had also bought a few cubes that day, and we were just talking about it. Pac was releasing information as it was going on. And I don't know if you remember, but Pac actually unveiled burn.art in the midst of the drop, either on the first or second day there. And I think that what Pac does is very long term in each and every collection. So when I see people in the merge chat asking when merge or stuff like that, I'm like, you don't get it. It takes time. And I try to explain that, and I know other people try to as well, but some people just don't understand, and they have to sell and first and get burned before they realize what's happening.
You know, patience is a virtue. I've heard this from my elders. And patience pays. So if you really believe in the creator, you believe in the project, if you have patience, it will pay off for you down the road. You know,
Absolutely. We're a two marshmallow community, right?
yeah, it's somebody was giving me the statistic. I think it was Surfer's Apprentice, Silver Surfer's Apprentice.
Hmm.
You know, we're only at a what was it like a we're like a $40 million market cap with Ash, something like that, right? And Merge did over 91 million in the primary sale. So, you know, even you could just think about Ash. We're so early on that too as well.
Yeah, and everything leads back to Ash, which is just the brilliance of Pac. I get lost on that idea of Ash a lot and frequently because it's so good. It's the seed of abundance for a forest that lays in the future. We're at that seed portion. It's barely been planted, right?
I just got some more clarity the other day about the bonding curve.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always been interested knowing that, you know, after 3 million ash or no, it's 5 million ash is created, the burn that you get out of a high tier NFT burn is going to be half is what you would have got if you burned from day 1. And for
Correct.
some reason I literally thought it gets cut in half. Like that day. This is kind of like bear with me here. So right now you get what like 660
652.
Here, I'll pull it up here.
651, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, so up at the top left it says high tier ash rate. So if you burn a piece, if you burn a high tier burnable item, which is well, not anything POC, but most POC collections have that high tier ash burn. So you would get 651.392 ash. So I literally thought once we have 5 million ash, that high tier ash rate that day will get cut in half to like 351 or 325 or whatever. But it turns out that at 5 million ash made, you're going to be getting 500 ash.
Hmm.
So it's literally
Yeah.
just a halfway point,
Yeah.
and they call that the halving. And it's so funny because this whole time I was thinking, man, you're only going to get like 300 something ash, which it turns, I mean, that can be quite a bit. That's more than what I have right now, more than how many ash I have. But to think you're still going to get 500 ash, even at that halfway point, that's a lot of ash.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot, but I don't think people really realize how much ash is getting mined each day. I think it was only a few week ago or so that we were below 29 or 2.9 mil, and it looks like we're almost at 3.1 now. And that's just from people burning cubes, FOMO, and other pack collections right now. Once Poets gets enabled, I think that we'll see a pretty large influx in supply, of course. But that's okay. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a great thing, especially if you are a pot collector. You know, then it minimalizes the collection. The total supply goes down, which and thus could make the piece more valuable if that's the angle that you're looking
Hmm.
at.
Yeah,
I,
absolutely.
I try to get myself to not think about dollar signs and as far as like value. I try to see it more as just like the whole community and ecosystem, and these NFTs that you have or collect, you're essentially just building like your own story.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely part of it, but I think that it's absolutely a conversation about value. Every pack collection is in that regard, and that was one of the main purposes and one of the main impetuses of the fungible, right? So, and even the title in that regard, it's all about value and our perceived notion of ownership. That's what pack does, is question what we believe in.
Question value. No, I hear for where you're coming from. I just I see a lot of newcomers and even some people that have been in it for a while. That's like all they focus on is the price. So I try to branch out a little bit and not think about price so much is all I'm saying.
Sure, sure. Well, in that very same regard, we haven't even talked about the drop that's coming tomorrow, and that is going to create so many new pack collectors that I'm so excited for what's about to come.
Yeah,
We're at a
so
turning point.
the drop tomorrow. Do you want to go ahead and kind of elaborate on it, Tristan? I'll pull it up here.
Yeah, I guess I can go over it a little bit. I don't know if I'm the most educated, but I
That's
certainly
okay.
spend a lot of time in this space. It's essentially a collab with POC and WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. It's a 48-hour open edition, and there's also an auction component as well. The auction is for an NFT called Clock, and it's counting up the amount of time that Julian Assange has been incarcerated for. And the other open edition is called Censored, and you basically have a character count and you can tokenize a message. and Pac tokenized the first message the other day. Pac wrote, Pac was here. They minted it, and it generates an image that shows the text crossed out. So as you can imagine, there might be a slight gas war for some keywords like, oh, I don't know, America, freedom, sovereignty, just some ideas there.
That's so cool.
um, but what's really unique about this is it's a pay what you will. So it's open to anyone with an Ethereum address, and all they have to do if they want to collect it and they don't really have a lot of money is just wait for a favorable time on gas and just pay that. So this collection is very neat because it draws in the whole, it draws in two different worlds, right? Everyone who's a pack collector is going to get this because they're in a pack, and everyone who is either a political activist or they're aware of their internet freedom or they're curious about NFTs but haven't taken that first step, this is a great opportunity for them to really experience NFTs and a unique mechanism at the same time. I think it's wonderful. But anyways, the drop starts tomorrow. We're not really sure what time yet, but 2 days is a lot of time to enter in, and I will be minting at least 2 messages.
2 messages. So, for those of you
Yeah, you
that
only get one per
I,
wallet.
that's what I was getting ready to say. So your focus, you're gonna do it off of two different wallets then.
Correct.
Gotcha.
And I also think that a lot of people are going to sell these for cheap because
Of course.
they're going to be new pack collectors, and I kind of want to see how many I can collect over the next few years. So I wonder how that dynamic is going to work, and if other people are looking to do something similar.
So it says, so Pac put out a tweet yesterday. It says 7th of February, 2 p.m. GMT.
Oh, there it is. Great. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not going to try to do it right when it comes out, but
You have to.
I'll let I'll let other people handle that one. I'll see which words get taken. I'll let the gas spike, and I'll just be patient. That
When
way, I can
mint.
afford 2 messages for one gas price, right?
When mint, Tristan. When mint.
1 minute, 1 minute.
When.
Anyways, I'm super excited. I was talking to my friend the other day, and I called this the first pack penny. Except this is a penny that was minted in 1776, right when the Declaration of Independence came into existence, or right when we got our freedom.
The
So
good
it's a
old
rare penny.
declaration.
Yep.
Yeah, I was looking into some of the context around the censored drop, and it says on the drop, "You will be censored," and it just kind of makes you think about government and censorship and freedom of speech and stuff like that. So I'm
Yeah, I mean, Puck says that you're going to be censored, but I already am. We already are, so whatever.
yep.
We'll see what happens next.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where the whole Julian Assange trial goes. I was listening to a little bit of the Twitter Spaces yesterday with Dr. Novo.
Yeah, that was a great Twitter Spaces. I was in there the entire time.
I listened to it just for like 15, 20 minutes because I was at work. I think I took away maybe an important point. Maybe it's not that important, but one of the guys on there was saying the average price or the average donation, quote unquote, that they're sending this DAO, which is what the donations will go to, it
Mhm.
was zero point 0.2 Ethereum.
Yeah, that was actually Julian's brother Gabriel that was saying that, I believe. That Twitter Spaces was really inspirational because of the group of people that got together to discuss what is happening, and it shows you how much of an impact it has on the world. But yeah, I think he said it was zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.2 average. And this morning, actually, I saw a message tweeted from Pac, I believe, saying the Dow had surpassed 7,000 ETH.
Wow.
So I think that they are most likely going to get this 101.
The Dow?
And yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't. They have the support from Julian's brother. And I really love how the royalty mechanism is split up as well. How even if you're not so sure about your position on Julian or WikiLeaks, the open edition donations are going to a basket of other charitable organizations which matter. This drop was really executed in such a great manner, and I'm so excited to see what happens with it.
Yeah, it was something about, the donations, a part of it was going to go to like animals, human rights, and something else.
Yeah, I believe that's what it was. I have it right here, actually. Open edition proceeds will go to freedom of information, digital privacy, education, health, human, and animal rights organizations. So before that information was released, I was a little bit skeptical about what people would really pay for this open edition or for this free claim. But now that I see that, I think people will be willing to put a little bit of money up, and I think this is going to smash all sorts of records in terms of edition count and overall monetary value.
And for those of you guys listening here that maybe might not be familiar with the whole purpose of this drop going on, can you kind of just, Tristan, can you kind of tell them the basis of why this is happening? Can you kind of touch base real quickly on Julian, and
Sure.
if you know anything about it, that would be awesome if you could share with these folks. Maybe they might not
So
know.
this is one man's perception.
Sure.
I'll just say that. From my understanding, Julian was taken away from the Ecuadorian embassy about 3 years ago and is incarcerated for information released on WikiLeaks pertaining towards the US's, the United States war crimes and so on and so forth. So the United States has tried to extradite him back to here in America, and a bunch of people threw an outrage about that because they think it's unfair, and instead Julian is still being held in maximum security prison in the UK. So
Thank you.
that's a very abridged,
That's fine. That's
very abridged, but yeah.
perfect. So I was listening just in that 15, 20 minutes that I heard yesterday on Spaces. They were talking a little bit about Julian's health in prison. And
Hmm.
apparently, before they showed him on camera or they were talking to him or something, I guess he had like a stroke the day before.
Yeah, I heard that. It made me very sad. I actually rewatched V for Vendetta the other night, and it really reminded me of that kind of situation going there. And even with the manufactured virus in that movie, I don't know if I want to say it pertaining towards the stuff that's going on in the world right now, but you can't help but draw a similarity between the two, and it's very interesting. But that's not to say I don't have hope for what blockchain is building and for the community that's being formulated right now, because I think it's one of the most exciting things in the world right now.
It's better to talk about the Julian Assange versus COVID. So I would rather talk about that any day than
Yeah,
COVID.
for sure.
We're all kind of
uh,
burned out on it for the most part.
yeah, yeah. So we don't need to go there, but it's a thing. So that's cool. Whatever.
So, any Ash artist that you're looking to buy into over the next couple weeks, or any Ash artists that you really had your eye on, or anything that you want to share with us?
The short answer is all of them, but like I said earlier, I think Second States is very cool. I'm kind of into any Ash project that is able to reflect what is going on with the society and the community. So I think Impulse and what is the other name?
Soul?
Yes, Impulse and Soul is really cool. I also am excited to see what OG does with Ash Zero.
Oh, yeah.
I think Danny's Trippy Tech series was really cool as well, and I want to see that develop. I know that every single person that I've interviewed and had a conversation with is working on their own really cool and unique project as well. So that's why I need to cut back on everything else and just put my focus on the Ash
Yep.
ecosystem because I am missing things as we currently speak. I have a FOMO.
And for those of you that don't know really too much about Ash, just in a brief, quick summary, so this artist, Pock, that made Fomoverse, which you see the diamond right up there, the white diamond. He is a digital artist creator, I guess you could say, and he's been out for a long time.
Yeah,
I
20
would,
plus years.
yeah, I would say, he is the top grossing creator. As of last year, I think he did over 200 million in the primary sales. So there's a pretty big community too in POC. He's got his own Discord. He's got his Twitter. He makes some really, really nice stuff. A lot of his work is, monochromatic, uh, minus, poets, lost poets. Those have some color and stuff to them, and it's not just art. I That's why I say he's a creator.
Hmm.
A lot of his work that he makes, a lot of the work that they create, because we don't know if Pock is a he or she or they or AI. Um, a lot of it I've noticed has utility. So, for instance, if you bought a piece, it's called a cube. Pock created this, and it was made out of the collection called the Fungible. You could in turn burn that for a cryptocurrency called Ash. And Tristan and I were just talking about the Ash ecosystem, which that has different kinds of Ash artists, Ash creators, and that's the currency that they accept. So it all starts from POC, in my opinion, and then burns
Yeah,
into Ash, and then artists collect it, or artists accept Ash for their collections. So that's just kind of like a super, super brief, dumbed down summary for those of you guys that don't really know too much about Ash.
sure. I'll just add to that a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more. Cubes came out in April of 2021. It was the 12th through the 14th. It was a 3-day sale. And they weren't actually burnable for a few months after that. Even though it was teased on the first or second day of the collection, we weren't able to convert our cubes into Ash for quite some time. So this whole movement that has spawned from Pack has actually only occurred in the fraction of the time that we have come to know Pack. So the We Accept Ash movement has actually only really blossomed since, I'd say, September or so, and it's a relatively short time frame in the overall uh, Pack lifespan, if you will. And to see it grow so fast is really inspiring as well.
It's crazy to me. I never would have imagined that, all these artists and all these creators are, going to accept Ash as a currency. I never seen that coming a million miles away, but a lot of the stuff that Pac creates, you never see coming anyways.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Why not Ash is my question for you.
What do you mean, why not Ash?
Why shouldn't it be the currency that artists and creators accept?
I mean, I that's a great question, but I believe myself that Ash could be the token of the future as far as NFTs goes. And I believe that most artists eventually will accept Ash, and some will make it to where, they only accept Ash.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think it's incredible, and I think people also are a little psychologically scared of Ethereum, even though they have to use it. Ash is so much cooler. It's trendy.
Yeah, it is pretty cool, the story behind it and how it was created, and the background of it. You can go way back to, I was just listening to the Defiant before I came on here, and I've seen the Defiant Guide to Pac a few times, but just wanted to rewatch it this morning before we came on the show, and it kind of gives you a broader perspective of Pac and kind of his whereabouts, and it's pretty interesting. If you guys are, for those of you that are listening, if you're curious to find out more about Pac, Tristan, you can chime in here, but you can either go to his Twitter, you can watch the Defiant Guide to Pac on YouTube, or where else could they maybe find out a little bit more about Pac if they're interested?
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say first to touch on the Defiant. After I watched that the first time, I had said that when people asked me about Pac or who Pac is, I was just gonna link them to that video and tell them to enjoy.
Yeah.
I did that with one of my friends though, and they were like, "This is too intense." I had to turn
Yeah.
it off. I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, I can kind of see where you're coming from. This is a lot to digest, a lot to handle." So that being said, there's so many great community resources that you can go to learn and explore who or what Pac is. And one of them is my own. Another is Shorts Howard. It's a Substack and newsletter. A third, and perhaps one of the great homes to many of us, our first home was the NFT Siblings Discord. And I think that if I, that's where many of us started our journey before there was an official pack channel. So they've got a pack channel in there, which I would point people towards as well.
Those are all good places you can find out about Pac. It's funny because I was on Nifty Gateway. Gosh, it was in 2020. Seems like it's been forever now. And that's
10
where
years ago.
27 years. Um, so that's where I found Pac, was with Trevor Jones and Pac's collab. But then
Right?
I heard about, NFT siblings actually after the Fungible. And going back, it's nice to hear people, you know, being in the community and talking about Pac and having their own channel inside of that NFT siblings. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it was cool. It's all spawned from the Nifty Gateway chat because that's where Pac was having the drop. And I believe JC was in there as well. And a bunch of other people were all kind of coming into POC. We were trying to figure out what's going on, and it kind of just naturally spawned in that moment. We all just gravitated towards that community that formulated. And it feels really crazy to me that it hasn't even been a full year since that server opened, and I feel like I've gotten to know a lot of people so well, and we have a lot of things in common. And I think that a lot of those ideas that we share and beliefs that we have are really going to shape the world for future generations to come.
That's awesome, man. Love your viewpoints on this stuff here. So,
There are perspectives,
yeah,
not just mine.
right. Our perspectives. So, two more questions. I'm going to wrap this thing up if that's cool.
Yeah, we can go as long as you want.
First question is, what is your favorite cryptocurrency?
Oh, it's Ash. It's easy, easy.
Duh. And second question is, what is your favorite shitcoin?
It's it's also Ash. It's only Ash. Just get Ash.
All right, guys. So Tristan is saying you guys should buy Ash.
Yeah, definitely. When people say that it's down, I say it's up from 2 to 5 actually. I'm looking at a plus 17 right now.
There you go.
But maybe that's just because I was early.
Gotta be early. You know, if you have Ash now, I feel like you're pretty early.
Yeah. I mean, Ash 2 is, come on guys, it's right around the corner. It's crazy. I'm looking at the Ash holders. We're at 10K. It's going to explode in the next year. We're going to have 100K by 2023, and I'm just going to be right here alongside with you all. We'll have, I don't know, 20 newsletters by then. We'll
Yeah,
be a third
guys.
of the way to the goal. We'll
So
be getting there.
so go on Tristan's newsletter, subscribe to his newsletter. What's the best way they could find your newsletter for the viewers on here?
Yeah, it's hosted on a website called Review. I don't know. Is there a way to just link it? I think the best way to find it is just through Twitter. It's tagged right to my profile at the top of the page. Um, if not, you can just message me on Discord or anywhere that I can be found. My ID is very simple. It's a capital ISEULT hashtag 8888.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Tristan. Is there anything else you want to touch base over? Or?
Yeah, I just want to drop a quick note about my upcoming project, I guess.
Let's hear it.
It will be a companion piece for the newsletter, and it will be a free claim as well for all Ash holders. So I think it's going to be really exciting. I'll be dropping more deets as time goes on, but
Nice.
I'm excited to join the fold as an Ash creator. It looks like we have the Ash Nation space starting here soon, so I'll probably be in there if you guys want to catch me there.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, Tristan, for coming on FOMOverse Radio. Again, I'm
Thank
your
you for
show
having me.
host.
Pleasure. So much fun talking to you, Austin.
Thank you so much, brother. Good episode.
Lucky 11 in the books.
Episode 1-1, episode 11. Well, thank you again for coming on, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay?